there, Julia here. Today we are counting down my favorite indigo, Blurple inks. So, indigo. You might also hear this called Blurple, which I think is the most accurate word for what we're actually talking about here. It lives right between blue and purple, but it's not navy and it's not violet or fuchsia. Something in that in-between zone where you're not totally sure which way it's gonna go. But this is the way that I think about it. If a blue ink has a noticeably purple lean, enough where you can actually see it, then that's kind of the Blurple territory that we're in today. Some of the ones we're going to be swatching today are a little more deeper and moodier, and some are lighter and more ethereal looking, but they all share that quality of sitting right on that blue-purple line. So looking over my ink directory at my blues, and I dipped a little bit into my purples as well, I have more inks in this range than I realized, which made this list actually pretty fun to put together. We are counting down 5 inks today with a handful of honorable mentions. I'll give you hints for each one before the reveal so you can test your own ink knowledge, and that's just always a good time. And then really quickly, the supplies. I'm going to be using my mini plastic spoon, of course, for the swatching. And for the writing, I'm going to be using the Sailor Hakoto dip pen. It's my favorite dip pen for writing. I've tried the glass pens, even my Kakamori and Colorverse shuttle nib. This one still wins for me for feeling like a fountain pen and not like blurping all over the page. But I will note that it does have the feed in here, which just gives me a longer writing session. Before we get going, I do want to mention that Ana Luisa is having a big sale with up to 70% off of select styles. Most any jewelry you see me wear here on the channel or out in the world is probably going to be from Ana Luisa, and they've been a great channel partner for years at this point, and everything I've gotten from them has aged beautifully, even though I'm terrible and probably a little negligent when it comes to jewelry maintenance. But even so, I still get compliments on some of my favorite pieces, like this necklace, which I absolutely love and wear a lot, and also this ring that pairs really well with my wedding rings. I've had both for a couple of years now with lots of wear, and I definitely will be wearing their jewelry for years to come. Check out my link in the description for more beautiful pieces, either to gift or for yourself. And thanks so much to Ana Luisa for being a channel supporter. With that, let's get into these Blurple inks. Okay, so our first Blurple ink is named for what a legendary sea creature leaves behind. It's also named in the spirit of maritime folklore, and it's a saturated indigo blue with a dramatic, deep tone. What do you think it is? My number 5 pick for our indigo Blurple inks is Kraken's Wake by Birmingham Pen Company. And if I remember correctly, this does go down a little more blue, but it dries a little more purpley. It leans. It's somewhere in between the two, which is what we're looking for. Oh yeah, this is a 1.0 stub. There are several stubs available for the Hakoto dip pen, but yeah. Yeah, it's looking quite blue on camera, but I'm sure as we dry down, maybe you'll see a little bit more of that purpley tone that I'm seeing here in person. Let's move on to my number 4 pick. This ink has a single word name. It's atmospheric, elemental, and in constant motion. It's also named after something invisible, but can definitely leave a mark. What do you think it is? My number 4 pick is Robert Auster Wind. With this one, we also get some really nice lighter tones in the shading, some pinky, purpley undertones there. Okay, and this one will be on the lighter side of Blurple, but again, similar to Kraken's Wake, which you can see now is a little more purpley. Same goes for here, where it's gonna kind of shift a little bit to the more blurply side once we dry down a little bit. All right, let's talk about my number 3 pick. So the name of this ink pairs 2 words that typically don't go together. One is found in a carton and the other is vast. And when we're talking about the brand, these inks are handmade in the Philippines. And this ink in particular is one of their most popular since the brand launched in 2018. What do you think it is? My number 3 pick is Troublemaker Milky Ocean. I'm actually very excited to see this ink up next to Robert Auster Wind, just because they both have this really beautiful high shading effect. So this one does have some paler blue and purple undertones that will catch hopefully in this swatch. Again, you'll see that theme of it looking more blue when it's going down wet and almost sort of transform as it dries down. Okay, so yeah, these are similar. However, on the spectrum, this one does lean more on the purple end of things, and I think this one is more on the blue side. Okay, let's talk about my number 2 pick. So this ink's name is a Japanese name, and it's named after a flowering shrub that changes color depending on the soil that it grows in, either blue or purple blooms, which is super fitting for an ink that sits in between the two. And then the line that this ink is a part of draws from Japanese nature and seasonal themes and imagery. What do we think? My number 2 pick is in a sample. This is Pilot Iroshizuku Ajisai. And yeah, I know this one leans more on the purple side, but it is very sensitive and quite dependent on paper, nib, things like that. But it's definitely, as it dries down, you'll see it's definitely in that Blurple family. All right, there we go for our number 2 pick. Before we get into number 1, just want to mention some honorable mentions. And I have 3 here just to do like a quick swatch of, and yeah, just some other options. So let's start with this one. This is Diamine Baltic Breeze, which was a part of the 2024 Inkvent calendar, I do want to say. Oh, it is shimmer. And though this is a very beautiful color, I did not have the best time with it inked up the one time that I did have it inked up. Now that could just be because of the pen that I decided to ink it up in. But yeah, you can see it fits right along with the rest of these. Next up, I wanted to mention Sailor Manio Haha, very popular color. It is more on the blue side, but sort of with the Baltic breeze, the wind, the Milky Ocean has those undertones that kind of pushes it into purple territory sometimes as well. And I didn't include this in the top 5 just because of legibility. Anytime that I've actually I don't think I've ever inked this up in a pen, though I've used quite a bit in swatching and just painting around and whatnot. But yeah, it's just a little light. And then my last honorable mention is actually, keep this in mind, is actually a dupe for my number 1 pick. It's a new ink and I'm sure it's amazing, but I just haven't had a chance to put it in a pen yet, and therefore I can't really make a call on if it deserves a spot in the top 5, and that is Sailor Shikiori Patsu Patsu. I have a lot of confidence in this ink when it comes to being in a pen. It just flows so nicely, and I mean, I love a Sailor ink. They're so nicely lubricated, so I think it's going to be great. But just being transparent there, I haven't had it in a pen yet, so there's our honorable mentions, looking beautiful, still kind of matching up. Like Baltic Breeze looks a lot like wind. In writing, Baltic Breeze is a little bit darker, but the swatches almost look identical there. So possible dupe, something to note. There we go. So let's talk about the number 1 pick. You already know that it looks a lot like Sailor Patsu Patsu, but it was also in an Inky Advent calendar in 2024. It didn't place in the top 3, so it wasn't produced as a wider release. If you have it, you have it. What do you think it is? My number 1 pick for Indigo / Blurple inks is Colorverse Dante's Cosmology. And here recently I've sang the praises of this ink because I've had it in my TWSBI Mini for a good long time in my purse as a purse pen. And then I recently had it in my Desiderata Dumpka pen, and it was beautiful in there with both a stub and a fine. And it's one of those like professional inks, but still has some fun to it. It has a great flow. And so for all of those reasons, this is my number one Indigo Blurple ink. It's definitely a more moody Blurple or Indigo, but I think it hits it right in the middle. Okay, there we go. It's really nice to see it up beside Patsu Patsu because I haven't swatched them side by side yet to see if they're actually dupes. And the swatch looks pretty spot on in my opinion. This is going to be hard to tell because they are dip pens. I didn't have as much ink on the dip pen here as here. So this one does look a little lighter in writing, but overall I think that is a pretty solid dupe. So take note if you like this Dante's Cosmology. But yeah, here are my favorite Indigo / Blurple inks. Let me know your favorites down in the comments. For these videos, I love to get a good list going for anyone looking to explore this color range. As always, I'll try to have everything linked in the description. Subscribe for more ink exploration and like the video if you've enjoyed. If you want to go more blue or go more purple, I'll leave both of those for you right here. A blue exploration and a purple exploration for you to check out next. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you all in the next one.